It's time for the big conversations, telling stories of movers and shakers, of industry giants and daring professionals. It's time for the conversations that change your perspective on life, the kind of conversations that shape entrepreneurs and move careers forward. If you don't know where these conversations are found, we are sending you a GPS. But if you're listening to this voice right now, you are here. Welcome to the Growth Podcast. This is the GPS.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Growth Podcast. We're back. We have been around. This is episode number 61. Our road to 100 continues. And this week we're having another exciting conversation with someone who is quite interesting because I don't know where to place them. But I'm sure that by the time we're done with this conversation, you will know where to place them or know who exactly they are. I will introduce her, obviously, but I'll even allow her to do her own introduction. Yes, last week we had Chilu. Chilu is like Zambia's export. I think this week we have another export of ours. So we'll be getting into that conversation on the Growth Podcast. Remember that podcast is powered by Best Life Insurance. This is them. Please feel free to get to know a bit more about what they do, about their products. Go to their Facebook page, that's Best Life Insurance Zambia, for more details. So my guest this week, if I just show her, most of you may know her, some of you go like, that face looks familiar, but this is her. You know what's funny? Is when I tell people like, oh, do you know Cynthia Kanema? They go like, that name. And they try to trace it back, like, is it the supermodel? I was like, oh, you've just been quiet for the longest period of time.
Like 12. I think about 12 years.
12 years.
12, yeah, I think about 12 years. I joke now when I come to visit Zambia and I see people and I say Cynthia Kanema. If they recognize me, I say, okay, I just put you in an age bracket. Like once you say you know me, or at least you know the name somehow, it makes me figure out how old you are. Not really exact age, but the age bracket. Yeah. Because the younger ones, not really.
Okay.
Not so much, yeah.
And well, now you're Cynthia Kanema Bar.
Yes. Kanema Ba, yes. Married to Tian Osman Ba. He's from Guinea-Conakry. It's a country that I think few people know, but it is quite big.
That was Cameroon.
No. He's from Guinea-Conakry. We live in Cameroon, but he's actually from Guinea-Conakry. So he works for a company called SGS. So normally as an expatriate. So we usually spend like 4 years in a country and then they move him to another country to set up.
SGS, the guys in energy.
SGS,
gas, petroleum.
No, well, sort of, because they.
Because I know SGS filling stations in Zambia.
SGS filling station, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like yellow and blue or something like that.
Okay, so now SGS, it's a Swiss company. It's so they normally work with the government of a country to help regulate the quality of imports and exports. Anybody in mining will understand, anybody in business will understand, because when they're importing something or they're trying to export something, they usually go through SGS or an equivalent of SGS.
Okay, no, that's a different SGS.
Yes.
But we start with some icebreaker questions. I've got a number of cards. I want you to pick 4.
Okay.
Ask a question, answer it, eh? Just 4 of those.
Okay.
Not all of them, just 4 of them.
Just 4 of them, okay. So...
I like how you're balancing the colors, eh?
I think everybody balances the color. I like yellow, but because you've mentioned color, so I'll just take gray and now leave
Give
the
me
yellow
like the ones that are remaining.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So what are your questions?
Oh, what controversial opinions do we enjoy sharing with others? Controversial. Well, I'm the one I'm going to talk about. It's controversial in some circles, but I'm hoping that my story would kind of show that it's not really so controversial. Okay. So my husband is Muslim and I'm a Christian. He's been Muslim since birth. I've been Christian since birth. We met, we fell in love, we got married. And it's a very unusual kind of union, especially growing up in Zambia. And anytime people hear that, especially here in Zambia, they're like, no. So like, I'll tell you, I came this time, right, this trip, and I had makeup, but it had smudged, you know, at the end of the day. And I'm talking to a friend and we're doing a video call. And they're like, what's that on your face? Does your husband hit you? Like it's so easy for people to jump to the most extreme negative because he's Muslim. And maybe the stereotypes that we've had attached to, you know, Islam or the Islamic faith. So I kind of look at my story and I feel like, okay, so maybe we can show people out there that it is possible to, you know, live together like that in harmony, even though you have two totally different faiths. Yeah.
Okay, that's one.
Good enough.
3 more to go.
Okay. What was the last big thing you lied about? Oh my God. But if I tell, then wherever it is that I lied, they'll know I lied. So can I plead the fifth?
No, please. No, this is not the US. This is Zambia. We don't have a fifth here.
Oh my God. Lied about. Lied about. I'm trying to think. I don't tell that many lies, and I'm trying to think, okay, which one can I really share? Because it might not be as big to you. Oh, okay, this one is kind of like sad. I'm in Zambia for 7 weeks, at least this trip, because of what I'm working on. And my son asked me to go back home after 4 weeks. And I kind of said I would. I said I'll be back in 4 weeks, so I lied about that. I'm only getting home in 7 weeks.
We'll send him a link.
I know, and I'm thinking, oh my God, okay, by the time he watches this, like, okay.
He'll be back.
Yes. Fast forward 20 years. What does life look like now? Okay, 20 years. 20 years, my daughter, the youngest, will be 27. So I'm assuming that, and my son will be 30. I'll be a grandmother, but I would like to be a modern grandmother. I think there's so many women now who are showing us how you can still be vibrant and thrive, you know, even, you know, in past your considered prime. So I think 20 years from now, I'll be looking back at what hopefully I would have set as a legacy. And I would be sitting and enjoying my grandkids and enjoying what I would have set up as a company or companies and just enjoying. I'd like to live a laid-back life and just relax and enjoy family and enjoy life.
All right. And the last one?
The last one, what's your secret success strategy? Oh, that's easy. God. Before I do anything, I speak to him and I look for guidance. I know we receive, you know, we hear from God differently, but I believe when you pray and you seek earnestly, you really do hear him. And for me, he guides me like that. And yeah, so even when I'm doing something and I kind of hit a brick wall, I realize, okay, so maybe I didn't hear correctly. Let me just go back. Or sometimes, you know, you let ego take over and you start doing your own sort of thing instead of just, yeah.
Okay.
That's me.
Yeah. So those are our icebreaker questions.
Not easy icebreakers.
We feel like we're getting to know you. Okay. So first of all, how did you find yourself in Cameroon?
So my husband's job. So before Cameroon, we were actually in Haiti, which was also an interesting experience. And then we moved to Cameroon because of his job. So we just move wherever the company sends him. And so that's how we're in Cameroon.
All right.
So we've been there now going 5 years. So most likely we'll be moving soon, but we don't know where until it's time to move.
So these other countries where you've been, what cultural shocks have you had to go through?
I don't know if it's because of my spiritual side or my spiritual life. It was the voodoo religion in Haiti. It used to, like in the beginning, it used to really freak me out. And we were living in a house that was kind of like on a hill. So in the valley, I think they had like one of the covens there, and they used to meet like once a week, but twice would hear this noise and this, you know, the voodoo drums. And it's a religion, so it's not feared as we feared on this side. Yeah. But I remember the first few months, I couldn't sleep. Anytime they were having their meeting, I could hear everything. And I told my husband, can't you hear that? It's like, because it's in your mind. I don't really believe it was in my mind. I could hear them all the time. So that was a real shock for me. It was a real shock for me.
Okay. Yeah. You. The last time I think we had a conversation when we met over lunch, and you're telling me about the different versions of a woman that you have had to be because of the different transitions that you've had to go through. You said the Cynthia Kanema that was single is not the Cynthia Kanema that got married, is not the Cynthia Kanema that had a child.
Kids, yes.
Run, because I know like this is someone feel like like it's obvious, we know
it's
that.
Obvious,
but talk to me about those differences and those transitions.
So I came across a quote once. This is like much later in my life, and it was saying every next level of your life requires a different version of you, and it resonated with me because I had seen myself going through that. So the Cynthia Kanema that was the model and, all that I was before I got married, I used to make decisions based on Cynthia. What is good for me? What do I want to do? Where do I want to go? And even in terms of vacation, I could wake up today and say, you know what, I'm really tired, I need a break. Then I got married and I realized, okay, two really becoming one, it's not as easy as it appears. Maybe their kids were much older, and I realized when their kids were younger, like my kids' age, they were going through the same kind of thing. It's like, it doesn't matter which level you're at in society, as a woman or as a mother, you still go through the same challenges, just maybe different magnitudes, same struggles, same pressures and stuff like that. And I feel we do it kind of in an isolated way. I know that for me, you try to talk to a friend or you try to talk to, family. I don't know. I just felt like we needed more people to speak about, or we still need more people to speak about the different things you go through as a woman. I'm sure it's the same for a man. I wouldn't know, right?
Men don't talk, yes.
and there you go again. Men don't talk. They'll just drink it away. But yeah, and so it can actually do a number on you. I met a friend who had told me she had actually gone through depression, postpartum depression. And I think just because I'm African, I didn't recognize that there was something like that hitting me, when it was hitting. But looking back, and I was like, I think that's what that was. But in Africa, we don't really have this thing of, depression or whatever. And, being a Christian, I was quick to run to God. Oh my gosh. I think I must have cried buckets and buckets to God, because it's like sometimes you can't even put it in words. So you just cry and you pour out. But I used to find photography therapeutic because I'll be talking to women who are going through something similar that I was going through.
All right.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier that your husband is a Muslim, born and bred Muslim, and you are on the other end of the spectrum, which is Christian, born and bred.
Yes.
First of all, how is that marriage even still working?
Right.
And I'm asking because look, in Zambia we may not really have we have couples like that, but the majority in Zambia is no, he's Pente, I am SDA, or by Pente,
Pentecostal,
I'm
yes,
SDA, or UCZ, Jehovah's Witness.
And even that, though, sometimes they say you have to convert.
Yes. How is it for you? Because also, the other question I'm going to ask is, you've got two kids. What are they? Are they Christian or are they Muslim?
Okay. So I think that for the people involved in a relationship that is like that, Muslim, Christian, or, same faith but different churches, you need to have a lot of tolerance for each other and be kind of very understanding towards each other. That's the key. And then between the two of you, you need to have an understanding. Because even for us, when his family would start, or not even actually his family, I won't say his family, it would be maybe friends, outer circle, because my sister, he's the only boy, and he has 4 sisters. They've been so wonderful to me, so amazing, and so as my mother-in-law and father-in-law. But the other people on the outskirts would come maybe to visit, and they were like, "Your wife is still a Christian." Talking to my husband, how are you letting this be? And, they kind of play to the man's ego. How can you let this continue happening like that, And my husband would be quick to actually just say, leave it. It's working as it is. Because you start talking to say, convert her to Islam. Her side will also start talking to say, convert him to Christianity. And you just create confusion. So leave it as it is. It's working for us, and leave it as it is. And I think that's what's been helpful. For the kids, we're exposing them actually to both. And maybe you could say we're being too liberal-minded, but we're moving into a world where things are changing, When someone ever has an opportunity to read even the Quran, which I haven't, probably I should, but I have been told that it's basically the Bible, like the way we have the Old Testament, New Testament, that's in the Quran. And then it has the extra part that, the Prophet Muhammad, brought to the fold. So basically, the beginning of the beliefs and the things that we believe in as Christians, Old Testament, New Testament, it is there even for their religion, But so we move into a world where it's like we have diverse cultures coming together and working together. And we find that at the end of the day, when we're praying to God, you can call him Allah, you can call him, God, or through Jesus, or through Prophet Muhammad or Buddha. But at the end of the day, that spirit in you is what is responding to a higher being. I had a very good friend of mine, actually, Pastor Z is the one who said, he tells people, and I'm copying this because I found it really useful. He said, I tell people, continue believing whatever it is that you believe. If you believe in Buddha, you believe in Muhammad, but do it to the best of your ability. Because when you do die, when you quote unquote, like your judgment will be based on what you believed and how well you carried it through. Not so much as because you believe Jesus, so even if you only did 20%, will excuse you. Whereas you believed Prophet Muhammad, or you believed in Buddha, even though you did 90%, because you didn't know about Jesus, that sort of thing. So I kind of feel like I relate to that. Like I feel the reasoning behind that. Because at the end of the day, you could be Christian, like full throttle, 100%, and then your heart is not really, yes.
In it, yeah.
Yes. And, I have learned a lot from my husband. I would tell you, in the beginning, I used to feel challenged, because Muslims have prayer times.
Oh, yeah.
And as Christians, yes, the dedication, the commitment, honestly. So as Christians, we have, prayer month. That prayer month you have at church or whatever, and you wake up at 6, church, and you do this, that. So I would do that, maybe when we're having something like that at my church, or at church, and I want to go there. But after that 1 month, I continue sleeping. But he doesn't. He's still waking up at 4:30 every morning, every single day, whether you're on vacation, whether it's raining, whether it's sunny, every single day. And so one day, my older brother actually just said, do you know that, have you ever thought about what will happen? Like, Jesus comes, like the end of times. You're busy in bed snoring away, and he's praying. Who do you think is going to go? It's not really that drastic, but it kind of just made me realize sometimes as Christians, we do kind of take our faith a little lightly. Yes. You're talking to God while you're driving. I appreciate their reverence for God. And it's actually helped me as well, to kind of create a...
Christians believe God is your friend. You can talk to him like a friend.
Yes, your friend, your father.
So your kids... Yes. Today they go to the Muslim church.
So in Cameroon, I haven't found a church yet. So maybe that's also something that hasn't really been very helpful. But from the time that they could speak, we pray before going to bed. So, Muslims have their prayer time. So the last prayer is like about 7:30, 8, depending on. So, but as Christians, I was raised to pray before going to bed. So our kids always pray before going to bed. And so what we've just done now, though, is they're learning the Quran, they're learning Arabic. So as recently as maybe 3 months ago, we alternate. So today when they're going to bed, we're saying a Christian prayer. Tomorrow when they're going to bed, they're reciting, their du'as and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of the things that, maybe the key thing that brought you here is because you're having this masterclass around decorum and etiquette and how people conduct themselves.
Yes.
And And I feel like this is the right market because Zambians, like, we don't really care, you know. Like, I want to talk about some key, like, etiquette mistakes, if I should call them that, that you see in people. And you say, like, no, that should not be like that. It should be like that. Because we feel like we know it until someone points it out.
Yes. Well, okay. So I'll start by saying, you know, there's etiquette, right? Etiquette and there's manners. So etiquette, you learn. I mean, even manners. But manners speak more to your attitude as a person. So in Zambia, I kind of feel like it is both. We're slowly becoming this generation that is rude, kind of asocial. Like everybody is on the phone. It doesn't matter. You're having lunch. First, somebody needs to take a picture of the food. Somebody needs to take like you're forgetting the moment. Let's enjoy, you know. Anyway, so you said things that I've noticed that people do that are a bit off. Ladies, whenever I go even to a restaurant or just anywhere, even you find that they're quick to put the handbag on the table. You arrive somewhere, restaurant, wherever, handbag on the table. The handbag never goes on the table. But maybe it's also coming from a culture where we like to show off. You know, Zambians. So how would they know that I have a designer bag if I don't, you know, put it on the table? But ideally, it should be that if you're in a place where they give you a little stool to put your bag, you put it. But if not, that's why you never sit like full into the chair like that. You sit at the edge of your chair and you put the handbag behind you. It's a handbag, it's a purse, you put it behind. If it's too big, you can put it on the floor, but it's not really good. It depends. Good vibes. People who are suspicious and, you know, they don't like putting things on the floor. So never on the table, behind you. That's what I'll say about like women. But for both men and women, it's the chewing.
Chewing of what? Gum?
Food. It's like, you know, either someone has bit off too much or they're not, you know, okay, this is how you tell. When you're chewing, you can't chew with your mouth closed, then you bit off too much. So you should take smaller bites, whether you're male or female, take smaller bites. And if you're in the company of people, not just people you're trying to impress, even friends, because, you know, good etiquette isn't just what you practice when you're around your superiors or around people you want to impress. You should practice it every day, all day. That way it becomes a part of you. So even when you're around your friends, take smaller bites. And actually they say you should chew. And I always get people say, that's too much. You have to chew at least minimum 20 to 50 times. So a man, maybe you chew like 30 times, right? A woman, take your time. Chew 40 times before you swallow.
Wait, if I'm having shima, so I get the shima, right? Mm-hmm. And then into the relish.
Yes.
And then it goes in my mouth. Mm-hmm. I should chew how many times? 30 to 50 What time am I going to finish?
But that's the whole point, you see, and that's the other thing. We've lost this thing of enjoying a meal. You know, people are in a hurry. 5 minutes, napi shokuli your mouth. How did you finish eating so fast? Because you're barely chewing. You're just, you know, take your time to chew. Shima or bread, whatever. Just take your time to chew. And you find that when you do that, you pace yourself. So you can't go to someone's house and before the host has even finished eating, you've finished your whole batch. Big bites.
So wait, if I'm visiting, I should not finish eating before the host?
No. You always follow the lead of the host. So, you know, it's etiquette, but I think even in our culture, right, we have that. If you've gone to someone's house and you're eating together, you can't finish eating before your friend, the owner of the house, has finished eating. Isn't it? I mean, now it's changing. This is what I'm saying. Slowly, while kind of like losing these, you know, social graces, these values. In fact, I remember growing up and being told, when you go to someone's house, it doesn't matter even if you're hungry. You don't eat. They offer you food. I would, like, okay, for me, that's what I was told.
I know things have changed now. People are more honest. If you're hungry, just say.
Yes, so it is that. Then what's the other thing I could say? It's to do with kind of like business etiquette, right? In the workplace. It's like, you know, emails? people have kind of taken text messages, the way you'd send a WhatsApp text. They literally have taken that and they do it as an email. I don't know if you're getting it.
Like straight to the point.
It's not even straight to the point. You know,
Or
like
brief.
You know, WhatsApp messages are like,
Hey,
yeah, and then you send, and then that is what is being sent as an email. I don't know if you've received those. I've received several of those, and I'm thinking I should have just given them my WhatsApp line, instead of flooding my email box like that. I was saying, as a woman, you ask a woman, when was the last time a man just drew the chair out for you? Or as a man, when did you ever present a chair to a woman? A woman arrives somewhere where you are, and you say,
the woman
sit.
I'm with, or just any other woman?
Any other woman. I walked in here, Sui. What happened?
I showed you the
Cynthia,
chair.
Whereas the proper etiquette would be you draw out the chair for me and you present the chair. But it's it's not your fault because we've lost those. No, you see, someone was actually saying we need to go on the street and ask people, because there are things that people don't even realize are a poor etiquette, or a poor manners. But I have to share this story, So I was telling you that there's a difference between etiquette and, good manners. So there's a story of the Queen Mother, the mother of Queen Elizabeth. Well, both late, right? And so maybe I'll embellish the story a little bit because I wasn't there and it's just been passed down. But that she was hosting dignitaries from Japan. And they were having, after they finished their meal, they brought out finger bowls. Now, finger bowls are like the bowls that they give you with a bit of water to wash your hands after a meal.
The ones they give you at the restaurant with like lemon.
Yes.
Water and lemon.
Yes. To wash your hands. So now in Japan, normally after a meal, they have a soup that comes in a bowl at the end of the meal. So the Japanese people who were there mistook it for the soup. So they took the bowl and they drank from it. When the Queen saw this, etiquette would say, she would have said, she would have washed her hands. But if she did that, her guests would have been really embarrassed. So good manners. Good manners about making the other person feel more comfortable. So instead of washing her hands, she took the bowl and she drank from it too. In that case, she opted to use good manners over etiquette. So I like to tell that story for two reasons. One, because good manners over etiquette will always, be the way to go. But also, more importantly, you asked me, you can't finish eating before the host. It's important to always follow the lead of the host. If those Japanese people had waited for the host to do something with the bowl, they wouldn't have embarrassed themselves. Because then the host would have washed her hands and they're saying, it's for washing, not for drinking. But
because they finished fast.
because they probably finished eating, yes, faster. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what kind of etiquette when it comes to events, for example, networking events, a cocktail, because obviously when you go there, it's to network, it's to talk to people, you've got your business cards, you want to create your network, because obviously you want opportunities, maybe, business or a job.
Yes.
How do you go about that event without you, unnecessarily embarrassing yourself?
Okay, so it depends on how you think you'd embarrass yourself. I will tell you, there was a cultural night, Italian cultural night, just this past week. I was privileged enough to be there. So during a little break, people went out to eat and all that. And so we're standing out and we're eating. And we saw an ambassador there. And so my friend said, have you seen the, but if I mention which particular ambassador, the person who did this faux pas will notice. But anyway, so I noticed people walking up to him, introducing themselves. We do ABCD, and they'll give him their card. And I'm thinking, okay, how confident are you that you give the ambassador your card and he'll call you? Like I'm asking, you know what I mean? So when you go to a place like that, you want to, first of all, when you meet people, dignitaries of that level, you want to kind of impress them, really, the way you present yourself, firstly. So we talk about etiquette and good manners, not being noticed when you're doing the right thing. But when you do the wrong thing, trust me, everybody notices. You see what I mean? So if you present yourself, you're dressed in a certain way. Firstly, your appearance. That's why they always say dress for who you want to be, not necessarily for who you are. So these people, firstly, even though the way they were dressed. So you could see the man is just kind of like being polite, like just putting up with them. So dress appropriately when you're going to the networking event. Dress for the part that you want to be seen as, for starters. And then when you talk, they talk about, I don't know if you've heard of an elevator pitch.
Yes.
Pitch.
Yes.
Elevator pitch. Yeah. Always have that. Like a 30-second thing that you can say like that on the spot, introducing yourself, what you're about, what you want to do, and what you want to pass on to somebody. So that when you're meeting these people, it's not that you have to start explaining like an essay. And you're there to network. Yes, you want to meet more than one person. And maybe you're just going for that one particular person. But that one particular person is going to meet so many other people. So have this thing that's ready that you will say that will make you stand out. But present it in a way that right from the word go, somebody has, you've got somebody's attention. Because you have 4 seconds to make an impression. You say hello, and the next thing that comes out of your mouth, the person either continues listening or they're just smiling and being polite and they're not even hearing what you're saying. So that would be my thing. Come up with 30 seconds of who you are and what you are, and have that on hand whenever you go to an event, and always dress the part.
Okay. You mentioned earlier about email etiquette. Mm-hmm. Which one do you think is better? Addressing someone as "Hi Cynthia" or "Dear Cynthia"?
In an email or
Yes.
in
Work email.
Okay, so it depends. How well do you know Cynthia? Is
Cynthia is
your
a colleague.
Okay,
Like
so
work
you're the
email.
same level.
Maybe same level. Maybe he's in a different function but higher, or different function.
Okay,
but lower.
because so high is okay, but if someone is higher, people in high offices do talk. And when they talk, they'll say, "Can you imagine this boy walked up to me and he greeted me by my first name?" So there are people we do have friends who like, say, even though they're like high up, and I think we have one friend in common, he prefers to be called by his first name. But normally, proper etiquette is you do not refer to somebody by their first name. For me, even my own friends, if I'm in a formal setup, I would never refer to them by their first name.
But I do know that most organizations, for example, like in the private sector, banks, what, they're on a first name basis. Hi, CEO, hi, she's Cynthia.
Yes. Yes.
But
yes.
is it "Hi Cynthia, dear Cynthia"? Again,
No, because it's you're using my first name, so you're already showing familiarity. So you do say hi.
Again, some avoid the last name because they don't offend. Maybe you're Mrs. I say Miss, or you're Miss. I say Mrs.
So you say Ms. So Ms. is for both Miss and Mrs. You can't tell if someone is a Miss or a Mrs. if you say Ms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about etiquette at the table.
Yes.
My friend was telling me a story. They'd gone for, I think, a lunch or a brunch or a dinner, I don't know, at one of these fancy hotels. It was a family thing. So he had like his sisters and whatnot. So I don't know. The sister was still eating. They put their forks a certain way, only for the waiter to just come and just get them. And the kid cried because the kid wasn't done eating. And the kid didn't know what those forks meant. And,
yes.
How do you properly, like forks, for example?
Okay. So the first thing that I would say, because I didn't come with any props, so I will share this. You know how sometimes you're on there's a table setting and you have bread rolls, you have a salad coming, you have like maybe 3-4 glasses, and you don't know, is this my glass? Is this my glass? Is this my plate or is this my plate? And most of the time it's the small little bread plate that you start using, and then your friend this way will be like, no, that's mine. And they're like, oh, is mine this side? That sort of thing. So the easiest is to think of a beautiful German car, BMW. So BMW, whenever you're sitting on a table like that. So B for bread plate. So that's where you put your little small bread when they give it to you. By the way, That's also another thing. When people get that bread, you find they open it up. They put, even on a plane, you see that, right?
Put butter.
Put butter. And then, if they want to show that maybe they do have etiquette and they're cutting the bread, with the knife. Really, the bread, you don't cut with a knife. You cut a piece. You butter the piece you want to eat and then put it in your mouth. So you don't butter the whole thing at the same time. You break small pieces. The small piece that you break, you butter it, then you put in your mouth. So the BMW, so B for bread plate, M for main plate. So that's the big plate that they put in the middle where they'll bring all the main, like the main dishes. Then W could be for water or wine. So you know that your bread plate is on your left and your water and the wine is on your right, like that. Like that's the easiest for identifying your crockery. Then you wanted to know when you're done eating. So if you place your fork and knife, and we don't have anything that I could use to show, but basically when the fork tines.
Do you have another pen? I've got one pen here. Can be a fork or something.
Okay, so I was going to say when the fork tines are facing down like that.
Or like this?
Yes. It
facing
means
down.
Facing
like
down.
Yes.
It means you're still eating.
Okay.
Yes. When you're done eating, the fork tines are up. And then you put it at an angle, like the angle of the plate like that. So I don't know, maybe because I'm trying to imagine how a child would have put the two together, the fork and knife. Because when you're still eating, the fork and knife are not really together. So they're not on the plate, because the plate is like this. So you don't put the fork and knife down like this, touching the table, to say, I'm like, to take a pose. You still cross them, but on the plate.
Okay.
To show that you're still eating. Which is why our masterclass, one of the components we have is etiquette at home. Excuse me. So what you're teaching your children at home, not just in terms of mannerisms and greeting people who come home, but I come from middle-class home, really. But my mother used to teach us this like once a month. And back then I didn't think about it. It's now that I'm an adult that I've thought about it. I think it was like the month end. But I just remember it was once a month. So she would probably wait until she was paid. She used to make us have a 3-course meal on Saturdays. So we would dread the vegetables because it would be like maybe fancy vegetables, what we considered fancy anyway, maybe broccoli or, cauliflower. And you're like, we want, the usual chihuahua rep. What is this stuff? Yes, cabbage, the stuff that we're used to. But she wanted us to learn to use a fork and knife, like, when we're little. I learned that in our home as a child. So even parents now, if we need to take more time, with our kids and how we teach. We're exposing our kids to all these nice, fancy things, but let's also equip them with the correct way of doing things. I always say we've moved into this era where we have people like Mark, and I'm not blaming it on him. I'm just saying we have people like Mark Zuckerberg because he goes to work in a T-shirt and stuff like that. So people think it's okay to show up for work on a Monday, wearing a polo T-shirt. It doesn't have to be like a wrap, like, you understand? Because we have people that you look up to that you're thinking it's normal to do that. But actually it is not. The look on your face is showing me like...
I'm waiting for the thought. It's
actually not. So no, I wanted to go back to the thing of saying how we're raising our kids. Let's teach them the proper way of doing things. That even if... I have a friend who told me the other day, I don't do that. When I travel, I even refuse to eat their crab and whatever they offer because I rebel, Why are white people forcing us to do ABCD? And, and I said, it's okay to rebel. I understand. The people that are offering you whatever it is they're offering you and you're saying no because white people don't eat if shimu in Zambia. Are they the same people who come to Zambia and refuse to eat if shimu, or you're just generalizing to say because white people don't eat if shimu? Because then you're also now exhibiting poor manners where you are. But even in rebellion, act from a point of knowledge. Don't rebel, but in actual fact, it's because you don't know. You see what I mean? And then you clothe it to say, I'm just rebellious like that. Still know the proper etiquette of, doing things. And then kind of display your rebellion if you want to, like if you must. So with the child, I would say, we're going to take a child to a restaurant, depending on how old that child was. Let them know just the basics. How you put your forks. Because clearly, it was... And it must have been a fancy restaurant because the waiter noticed that he's been signaled to clear the plate. You see?
Yeah.
By the way that the fork and knife was placed. Maybe if you were just like in one of these, like a regular place, they'll even come and ask, oh, have you finished? But in those high-end places, they know. It's silent signals, you know what I mean? So they say, oh, it's done, and they picked it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of etiquette or manners do you expect for someone who walks into a job interview?
For me, I feel like it has to be first the dress code. So be dressed appropriately for the job that you're going for. Even if we're in an era where you say the creatives have to be more relaxed, be dressed appropriately. Kind of like you're paying homage and showing respect to the people who will be interviewing you. So it's yes, about how you're presenting yourself, but also you're showing that you have respect for the people who will be speaking to you. Because if I just show up in tropical slippers, like, forget what it says about me. What am I saying about you? You know, I was once told that when I'm late to something, yes, it shows poor manners on my part, but it also shows that I have no respect for the people that I'm going to see. Because if I respected them, I would show up on time. You see what I mean? So it's not even so much about you anymore. It's also about showing respect to the people who will be interviewing you. That's one. Two, have your information ready, whatever it is that you have to be interviewed upon. And I feel like we've moved in that era where people don't really do job interviews in the office. So have your manners, your mannerisms about you, have a little bit of etiquette research. There's a lot of free stuff on the internet that you could find. So maybe they say, come meet us for coffee. I will tell you, I have seen even big bosses, how they drink their tea is not correct. But because we see celebrities drinking like that, we kind of think it's okay, you know. Because you saw a celebrity holding a glass of wine like that, you think, oh, that's how you do it. It's sad that now not all celebrities are being the role models of teaching us good behavior. They're just being themselves and reckless sometimes and all that. So we can't even always afford to say, I'm looking to that person to guide me on how. Do your own research on what proper etiquette is for whatever event or, occasion you're going to. So I would say...
What's the wrong way to hold a cup?
So coffee is easy because coffee is usually in a mug, but tea is the special one. Not so much about how you hold it, but what you do with your tea bag, what you do with your spoon. We should have had props. In hindsight, we should have had props. So, for example, I'll use your pen. So let's imagine that this is a teacup, so it's slower. You take your tea bag and you put it in. So
first of all, that's a teacup in Zambia. I don't know where you come from.
I know this is a mug.
In Zambia, that's for tea.
So this is for coffee. No, okay, we do, yes. We do drink tea in this. But yeah.
That's for tea.
And that's for tea. This would be for coffee. So tea would be in a teacup. You know, the nice, pretty
those
fancy
ones our parents used to put in the
yes, for special occasions.
For special visitors.
Yes. So in a teacup, right? So you get your tea bag, you rip it open, you put the tea bag in. After you kind of like you have the strength of the tea that you want, So you remove the tea bag. You kind of so you remove the tea bag, right? You put it on the spoon, and then you wrap the little string.
Yes.
And then the last part, because it usually has a little paper.
Yes.
So you use that and you squeeze the tea bag. So you squeeze the tea out, and you put the spoon on the side. So normally people would drink with the tea bag still in there and they're drinking. And when they finish, the tea bag stays in the cup, right?
Yeah.
So it should come out. Another thing is how we mix the tea. When you put your sugar, this is what we do. It's back and forth, not...
Also, it shouldn't go around. It should go and come.
No, it should go, forward, back. Oh,
not...
So and so this is the thing. So you go and then you see that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, or you lick the spoon or something like that. So anyway, so you mix it back and forth, then you remove the tea bag and you put it there, and then you drink your tea.
What about you are referring to those fancy tea bags, but there's those tea bags where you just drop it in there.
Okay, so again, if you are in a place where they're going to give you a fancy tea bag, they expect that kind of thing. If you're going to be in a place where they drop that tea bag, chances are maybe if it's a fancy place, they'll bring a teapot and the tea bag will be in there, in which case you just leave it there. But if you are in a place where they give the tea bag and they throw it in there, it's not a place where you're going to start exhibiting, because how you...
Because even they don't care about the etiquette and the rules.
Yes. I always say you can't go to Kawata and someone is doing, hey, can I have tea? And they give you something like, no, but where's the string? Time and place. So, yeah.
Okay. So this masterclass that you're having, what inspired it to be in Zambia? Are we breaking all the rules? Are we very backward? Or
actually, because of my modeling background, I've kind of been in this industry for I've been exposed to etiquette and grooming really as a learner and as a teacher, maybe the past 18 years. I know it gives away my age, right? Almost like 18 years. But, professionally and teaching, I think the past 4 years. I am certified in the UK and in the US. Last year I was contracted to groom some girls in Cape Town and then in Dubai. And it was wonderful. But what started happening was that I would get approached by companies or people who would see me doing this. Oh, can you come do it, for us with our company and all that. And for me, because like I said, I'm not here in Zambia. I come to Zambia like 3 times a year, but never for work. So then we have Zambia Kuchalo now, right? It's like, how are we sending our people out there? We've been saying Zambia Kuchalo. Is Zambians being seen as polite people? Are they being seen as cultured people? What are we kind of known for? I have a friend who's married to a Dutch, and he always opens her door. When they're getting into a car, getting out of a car, getting into the house, getting out of the house. Even if they've gone to Manda Hill or Ispak, he gets out of his car, walks to her side, here in Zambia, here in Lusaka, opens the door, and he says, this is how we all are. I find that really fascinating. We've always said Zambians are nice people, Zambians are very hospitable, but it wouldn't be amiss if we could be known for really good manners, you know what I mean?
But you see, again, for myself, I tried that with my wife early in the beginning. Mm-hmm. She seemed to be like, people watching, you know what I mean?
Because it's uncommon, and you see, I can understand where she's coming from. Whereas in my case, my friend's case, she actually told the husband the first time he did it, he's like, don't start this and then stop halfway through, because once I get used to this, you have to continue doing it. So it doesn't happen, and maybe it was making her uncomfortable. But trust me, if you had continued, 1 or 2 of your friends would have seen that and they'd have started. It's very easy to create a good habit and have it kind of emulated by people around you. But somehow being the first, and you also thought, people are looking, and they'll be thinking, Manda Pet's government, no, let's just walk. Yes. But so Zambians are very nice people, but I really feel like when you walk around, we are losing this. And I was saying etiquette at home. I went to a government school. When we'll knock off from school and we're going home, would see if you see someone older with a heavy bag, we always ran to help. Oh, can I help you carry this? And you're going in the same direction, so probably you escort them up to your house. Half the time it will be past your house. You escort them, you help them with that. We don't see that happening anymore.
Even just neighbors in Zambia, people don't know their neighbors.
Where do you ask for salt? I'm not saying, you should be running out of salt, but where do you ask for salt? Because there's this tall fence and nobody knows who's next door. I don't know. It's like we're just becoming asocial. There's a bar in Ireland, a friend of mine told me about this, that they got so fed up of this asocial behavior. And so what they did is they put a signpost. You get 10% discount if you hand over your phone at the bar when you arrive so that you can interact. Because back in the day, I mean, I'm not encouraging social drinking, but it does happen quite a lot in Zambia. So you go to these pubs to go and interact with people. But you get there, you're drinking, you're watching something on the TV, and you're busy on the phone. So why not just go
Another
do that
thing
at
I wanted
home?
you to talk about, these days, I invite you for, let's have coffee or lunch or whatever. You come through, we sit, I make my order, you make yours, we're having the best time. Then it gets awkward when the bill comes because, like, who's paying for this? Who's paying for this? Who's supposed to pay?
So the one who's supposed to pay is the one who invites. So I actually tell people, don't invite if you don't have the money to pay. Because I have been invited to places where we arrive and someone literally said, let's do lunch, okay? And I get there and we eat. And when the bill comes, they are looking at it and thinking, oh, you had this. Me, I had. I'm like, so I will pay. But actually, if ever we're together or we're in the same company where we go somewhere and someone does this, I always opt to get the bill. Like, even if, you're the one who invited, but because you're expecting us to pay. Because it's really poor etiquette to start splitting the bill and saying, okay, Iwe, you had this, huh? Okay, so you, 100 kwacha, you. And a friend told me, what if you don't have the money to pay? Okay, you don't have the money to pay, don't invite. But then, what about friends? We want to still hang out. I said, maybe then do that prior. Agree. Okay, so we're going to a club tonight. Each puts maybe 200 and we have one person holding the money. So that when it comes to the bill, it's coming from one pocket. It's not coming from,
Since mobile money.
Yeah, yes. Honestly, that is such poor etiquette and it's becoming more and more common. It's really sad. It's really, really sad.
Okay. As we draw to a conclusion, I want us to two things. Number one, the masterclass that you're having. Who are you targeting? Who should attend?
Everybody and anybody. We're targeting, we want you to practice etiquette and, good manners in everyday life. Not just because you are an official or you have a good job, or maybe you're looking for a job, or you're just in university and you're still young. Etiquette and, good manners is for everybody. All walks of life. So everybody and anybody can come. In this particular case, we are only doing for 70 people because it's our launch. And also, it's going to be a whole experience because we're having, everything is plated. We want people to experience fine dining. We want people to experience, to have an understanding of wines. So we'll have a wine sommelier explaining the wines and how you serve wine as a host, how you receive wine as a guest, how when you arrive, if someone invites you, how you arrive. Do you know that people who you invite to your home for a meal and they come empty-handed? I was talking...
Welcome to Zambia.
Yes, and my friend told me, but is it really required? I said, wait, which rock have you been living under? Because I think these are things for me that I knew growing up. So this is why I'm saying we need etiquette in the workplace, etiquette in the social place, etiquette in the home, because clearly people don't know the basics. You don't show up to someone's house empty-handed. Don't take anything fancy. It could just be grapes. Or or maybe you just bought some apples. Just don't show up empty.
Oh, yeah. Two things. So you're talking about showing up empty, right? Then there are those who want to live with takeaway packs.
Oh, and so then they live with takeaway packs and they ask for your lunch boxes. And then after a week, they drop off your lunch box empty. You don't take back an empty bowl.
I think you have to have a convention at Heroes
Right?
and tell the Zambians that, guys,
Right?
we've been... I know it's not everyone, but the majority, really. It's a normal thing. Even the host is not shocked that you came empty-handed.
Which is even sad, right? Because it's like that. Because they're just like, okay, we accept it. This is how it is, and But yeah,
yeah. No, I get that. So my last question to you is: what's the 5 things, 5 things you'd give as advice to women, whether etiquette or not?
Okay, 5 things I'd give to women
Yes.
Specifically women. So to women, I would say always carry yourself with grace. I think that your voice is louder when it's softer. So always carry yourself with grace. 1. 2, we always find ourselves doing things for everybody else around us. Create time for yourself. Self-care is so important, but it's so hard. And I'm saying this because I think that I've also had to I still have to consciously tell myself, Cynthia, create some time just for you, like no phones, nothing. Even if you go somewhere, just by yourself. We need that. And don't feel guilty about giving yourself that time. And then 3, I know that we're moving in a time where people are like, I know people who don't want to have friends. I can't trust friends anymore. Friends do this, so I'm just alone. That's actually not good. Do find 1 or 2 really solid people that you can count on, because everybody needs a support system. So find that. If it's not there, create it. It might not be your friends. It could be in a sister-in-law. It could be in a, but just find that. It could be at church. It could be at work. I mean, I don't know about, the work environment, but just create that. The 4th thing would be never stop learning. Even if it's not actual school, read. There's nothing more, I'll use the word sexy. There's nothing more sexy than a woman who has a brilliant mind. But you only get that if you're well read. So read. Whatever you can get your hands on, read. Keep developing yourself. And then 5, be gentle with yourself. There's so many things we want to achieve. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Just be gentle with yourself. 5.
Thank you very much, Cynthia Kanema Bar.
Yes.
Why don't you just say Cynthia Bar?
Right?
I think I heard, what's his name again? The late, that famous, from the island, that famous gentleman, the famous speaker, preacher,
Which
entrepreneur
one?
from
Miles
the island.
Monroe?
Yes, Miles Monroe. He says women who like to hyphenate the name. He gave an example of Hillary Rodham Clinton.
Oh,
you should watch that video. I won't go into the details.
Okay, no, but I have heard about this thing, like even spiritually, that it's not good to have like 3, just have 2. That there's something. So
yeah. No, but for you, I understand, because when you say Cynthia Bar, Cynthia
like
Kanema, oh, yeah, one of those. But no, it's been a good conversation. I look forward to the masterclass. What date is it again?
28th October. It will be at Intercontinental Hotel, and honestly, we're promising an experience. But I'm also mindful of the fact that it would just be the beginning, because there's work to do, and hopefully we can we can receive support. You want to work, but people should be willing to receive. So the hope is that more people will be open to that, and
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's like even changing a culture. You don't change it overnight.
True.
It's one person catches it, and then the next person, and then the other person, and the other person.
Exactly.
Because the way you're saying all these things about what we're doing wrong to someone else, you're like, she's just judging us.
Yes, I mean,
But
I
if it
should have
comes
talked
from-
about some of the good things people are doing. That's on you.
Okay, maybe no. We still have time. What are the good things they're doing?
What are the good things that they're doing?
Look at you struggling.
Okay, wait. So we still do have a few gentlemen around. I've been in places where maybe a man sees a woman standing and they've offered their seat. It doesn't happen often, but I've seen, like, maybe out of every 10 situations, I've seen maybe 2. So there are a few good eggs around.
The worst I've seen is an expectant mother in a queue. I'm like, guys, where's the guard? Where's the gentleman in the queue?
Yes.
To just move the woman, and But then again, the world has become very
I've
sophisticated.
been standing here. I woke up at 6 a.m. I've been in this queue.
But again, the world has come with some women. You find, she's not even pregnant because she knows you get ahead of the queue. Just like she's acting.
Okay. That that sounds Oh,
but then
my gosh.
also because I know that, like, for example, antenatal. When a woman goes there with a man, they're given preference. You know that, right?
Oh yeah, I didn't know. That's good.
Yeah, because they want families to They want men to tag along.
Yes.
So even you as a
yes.
woman tell your husband, go with me,
That's
because
good,
when
so
you go together,
we'll finish faster. That's good. You
You
see,
know.
that's a good idea. Like the idea I gave of the bar, where they say they'll give you 10% if you hand over your phone.
Yeah.
We need to create more situations like that, so we can encourage, good.
Yeah, so that they just incentivize, like, oh
That's
yeah, it's good,
nice.
because also, the reason I hate is because apparently they say that men are so busy, so they have to
women are
finish
not.
fast. So it's go, and the woman does one this word, that word, and she's out. But whatever the case, really, it's because the child is for both. So no,
true.
the mother is more the parent than the man, or the opposite is the case. No, but also it's just creating this culture of be present, really, be present.
Yeah.
Because yes, I know that people have the pressure to want to earn a living or provide for their families, but what good is it to provide for them and they don't even know you? Kids are calling someone else daddy because
Yeah.
they can't even see you.
True,
Yeah,
true.
because I've seen people turn down promotion because they feel like it would take me away from my family.
Oh, you see.
Yeah,
I felt that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so some men are like that. Like, no, like I want the promotion, yes, but I feel like you won't give me time for my kids and for my family and whatnot. Others is just like, when can I start? So we have different priorities, really.
Yes,
we have different priorities.
Yes.
But anyway, I hope people have picked one or two things. I know I have.
Yes.
They should look out for me at the next hotel.
Yes, if someone
When I
sees
show
you doing you're having your tea in they should take a photo and
Yeah,
send it.
because I've seen you see those what they put on the table. That BMW you mentioned. There's always that cloth.
The
that you
napkin.
put
Yeah.
on your.
Yes.
Others put it here. Others stuck it in.
Oh,
here.
so actually, we should have talked about that, right? Because the other thing is, I have seen people wiping.
Yes.
It's not for wiping. It's really for dabbing. So it's like you're wiping the corners of your mouth. So when you have the napkin, it should. May I use your book?
Yeah, sure.
So you fold it like this. This is my camera, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of, if this is your napkin, so you fold it like that, and then you place it on your laps. So on your laps, when you're about to dab, you open it like that, and then you bring it to your mouth, and then you dab. That way the dirt is inside.
Yeah.
Then you close it back. That's something that is actually interesting, because you do see people with napkins, and even like halfway through the meal, you see like it's already.
There are ladies with makeup and whatnot.
Yes, the lipsticks, the powders.
So what about those who put it here?
I mean, only if you're having like crab, but like having like what meal are you having? You're afraid that it will fall here. Oh, that's the other thing I could actually share, like a tip. You know how people like to eat and they go.
Oh yeah, you
Like
follow
they overlean, yes, when they're eating. So it should be something a bit more gentle. I don't know if I can move this. It should be like kind of like someone is whispering into your ear and you're listening. The spoon should come to you, not really you going to the spoon or going to the fork. It's coming to you.
Yeah, next thing you see, your hair is in the food.
In the food, or yes, you are overreaching for your juice and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, the learning won't end.
No.
Cynthia, thank you very much for sparing
Thank
the time.
you.
And I hope you are, I won't say you're enjoying your experience in Zambia, but a lot has changed. I know it's a different experience from the last time you were here, 12 years ago?
12, but I have been coming on and off, so, I mean, I was last year, I think in April.
March last year?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I was here.
No, we look forward to the masterclass.
Yes, please.
But thank you. Pass our regards to the people in
In
Cameroon.
Yeah. I will do.
It's-
Thank you so much for
It's been a good
hosting us.
conversation, and I look forward to the masterclass.
I've thoroughly
And
enjoyed
all
it
the best
too.
with everything that you're up to.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sui. Oh, I like that. Sui.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sui is better. Sui Lanchi is like, you're about to ask for money.
Yes. And you're just listening and waiting so that you can tell me Shkwete. I don't know if you saw that thing. There was, I think, like a meme where somebody was like this. Like, I'm busy listening to this person.
I already have an
listing
answer.
all their problems. Yes. I'm just waiting for them to finish so I can say Shkwete.
Cynthia, thank you very
Oh my
much.
God. Thank you.